Brad Johnson here from johnson.audio, and I'm here to talk to you today about the greatest mixing hack I learned from one of my audio mentors. So when I interned at a professional recording studio, I had the honor to be able to sit down and mix with a gentleman who used to assist Jack Joseph Puig for about 5 years in LA. And if you don't know who Jack Joseph Puig is, he's an insanely huge mixing engineer based out of LA. He had a studio based out of Ocean Way, and if you have never seen a picture of it, I highly recommend you just go and Google it. It has an insane amount of outboard gear, and he is just considered one of the best. He has signature series through Waves, and he's very, very accomplished. Worked on some major projects, and to be able to work with somebody that worked alongside him for 5 years, it was definitely a wealth of knowledge for me. So he would sit down with me and I would mix a song, and he would just be kind of like a little birdie in my ear. And he didn't really say much to me. The biggest question he would always ask me as I was mixing is, why did you do that? And that right there is your biggest hack for your own mixing. Every time you make a move, ask yourself the question, why did I do that? Why did I just do that? Why did I choose that compressor? Why did I choose that EQ? Why did I choose to make that fader move? Why? Ask yourself that question every single time, and I guarantee you're going to become a better mixer and become a better mixer quicker. It is so easy this day and age to just open up your plugin library and just go to certain plugins and just put them in, or set up your preset chain and just go to town on it. And I am still guilty of that myself. It is a very, very difficult discipline to get in, to continually ask yourself, why am I doing this? Because the thing is that with audio and the sounds and the way that certain plugins, especially if they're analog-based plugins, they do different things to audio, especially the way that audio interacts with it. And so you have to be aware of what it is that you're actually doing to your music, and not to listen to just a compressor or an EQ or a saturator on just one individual sound in the mix, but the way that it's affecting the whole entire mix globally. A great example of this is I was never aware when I was mixing that certain compressors do different things with sounds. Like, say, some compressors will actually widen the image of a sound. Some will actually focus the image of a sound. So you think about, oh, I just want to put a compressor on this bass guitar because I want to try to even out the notes. Well, think about it. If you're spreading out the image of your bass, now all of a sudden you have your bass frequencies kind of going to the side of your stereo image, and you might start masking stuff that's on the sides. Maybe it's guitars, what have you. And this is something you really have to think about, because if you just put a Fairchild on your bass guitar, and all of a sudden it's spreading it out to the side, and now you're masking up your guitars. When you go to work on your guitars, you might not be thinking about the fact that the bass is over there masking it. You have to consider these things when you're making every single move, and how every single move affects the entirety of your mix. You want to be thinking of your mix as one picture and not just a bunch of individual little things in a picture. I mean, yes, there are times to focus in on one thing, but you got to think about the whole entirety. So if there's one thing to be thinking about when you are mixing your music, is to always ask yourself the question, why did I just do that? And the minute you start getting away from that question and you start layering upon layering upon layering upon layering, you are now going down the rabbit hole, and it's going to be very hard to come back. You'll make a wrong turn very quickly, and pretty soon your mix is going to fall apart. Now, another really good thing to do that he taught me that he would do every single mix, and this is also an extremely easy but difficult discipline to implement, is to constantly be printing your tracks or bouncing out your tracks after every single session and importing that back into your next session, saved as the date that you are doing it as, and continually be flipping back and forth and referencing against your own mix, because it'll give you an idea if you're getting off track or if you're making your mix better. And if you happen to get off one day, you can always go back to the previous session and start from there. So I guess that's actually going to be 2 growth hacks for you today. You get 2 for 1. You thought you were going to get 1, now you're getting 2. This is how I roll. And I would say if you follow those 2 principles in your mixing, you are definitely going to become a better mixer and become a better mixer faster. Mixing is a long time art form. You're going to have to spend many days, many hours doing the art of mixing, and it is something that I still want to get better at. But I have to say that when I sat down with my mentor, he definitely opened my eyes up to big faults in my own approach to mixing. And so I feel like I don't hear this advice given very often by a lot of people out there. We're always looking for the next compressor technique, or the best compressor for certain instruments, or best EQs, or all these different EQ techniques. And all those are definitely great, and all that's definitely worthy advice. There's a lot of good advice out there on that, a lot of good lessons and tutorials, but really I feel like we're not getting down to the essence and the absolute understanding of why it is that we use certain tools, or why it is we're making certain moves within the mix, and if that thing that we're using is even the best thing to be using or be doing. And the only way to know is to ask yourself why. Just don't do it because, oh, that's what I do every time. I was slapping LA2A on a vocal, or I was using 1176 on the snare. Those things they work a lot of the times, but maybe in that particular song it's not the right move. And you have to just ask yourself, don't get out of autopilot, and enter into just being analytical on yourself and your mix and in the song, because we want to serve the song the best that we can. And every song is going to be different. Every song comes with its own sets of challenges, its own sets of wants, its own sets of needs, and we need to know that as musicians and as engineers. And so we have to tackle it with the questions of, why am I going to do this to this song? Does this song need it? Does this song deserve it? Am I ruining the song? Or am I making this song awesome so that when it hits the end user and audience, they have a great experience with the music and want to take it with them on this journey that we call life? That is ultimately the point that I want to hammer in almost all of my videos while I'm talking about songwriting and production, is that we are trying to create music for people to take with them and to make them feel understood, known, and felt in that moment when they listen to that song. So hope you got something out of this. Please leave me a comment below if you did. I would love to hear from you. Hit the like button, the subscribe button. If you like it so much, you can share it with your friends, get the word out, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.